This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today we are once again in the middle of a 50% off Criterion Collection sale at Barnes & Noble, in-store and online through December 7th. Yes, Amazon does usually price match during these sales, but I would encourage you to buy from Barnes & Noble if you can, because we want them to continue having these sales. We're running out of physical places where we can go and look at the discs before we buy them. And gone are the days where I would take the Kazdoy Closet Junior to Best Buy and there'd be 4, 5, 6 rows of discs we could look at. So let's encourage Barnes & Noble to keep having these. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to recommend 6 Criterion discs from 6 different genres. Hopefully discs that you may have overlooked, so I'm going to try to avoid the obvious picks. And I'm also going to tell you why I chose each one of these. As with all Criterion discs, each one has extra features and booklets. Unfortunately, I don't see any of these 6 currently streaming anywhere, so it kind of makes it hard to try before you buy. But you can always rent them, and you can always try your local library. Let's check them out. Going chronologically, we're going to start with a good old-fashioned melodrama, usually not the type of genre I would be attracted to. But my first pick is Imitation of Life from 1934, 110 minutes long, in beautiful black and white. And this is about a struggling widow and her daughter who, taking a black housekeeper and her fair-skinned daughter, the two women start a successful business, but then they face familial, identity, and racial issues. It stars Claudette Colbert from It Happened One Night. Louise Beavers plays the housekeeper. This is basically the first role for a black person to play a three-dimensional character instead of just sort of a stereotype. And Freddie Washington plays her light-skinned daughter. And so this addresses the whole issue of passing, which I was really not familiar with until I saw this film, where somebody of lighter skin tries to pass for white in society and kind of forget their ethnic background. So very interesting topic for 1934, I thought. So why did I choose Imitation of Life? Well, nostalgic reasons for one, because I used to watch this with my siblings growing up when it was on TV. That has an introduction by the great Imogen Sarah Smith, so it has her stamp of approval. That always means something. Like I said, melodramas are not my typical choice, but this is very emotional, and like I said, surprising issues for 1934. It was remade in 1959 with Lana Turner, directed by Douglas Sirk. And so I'm going to show you the extras here, and you can pause it if you'd like to. My second choice is a thriller or film noir. It's The Breaking Point from 1950, a brisk 97 minutes. This one's also in beautiful black and white. It's about a charter boat captain who needs some money and then is drawn into illegal activities with some shady people in order to make payments on his boat. It was directed by Michael Curtiz, who also directed Casablanca and The Adventures of Robin Hood and Mildred Pierce and many other films. It stars John Garfield from the noir classic The Postman Always Rings Twice and Force of Evil. And another one I really like, He Ran All the Way. Patricia Neal is the co-star here. She was in The Day the Earth Stood Still and the great film A Face in the Crowd. It was based on Ernest Hemingway's novel To Have and Have Not, which was a 1944 film with Humphrey Bogart, but some people believe this is a better interpretation of that novel. So why did I choose this one? I think it's an underrated film noir. It's well directed, it's fast-paced, and it's full of very interesting noirish characters. And here are the extras for The Breaking Point. My third pick is a science fiction / horror film, probably my most obvious choice in this episode, and that is The Incredible Shrinking Man from 1957, a quite brisk 81 minutes long, also in beautiful black and white. This is about a man who begins to shrink after he's exposed to a combination of radiation and insecticide. It was directed by Jack Arnold, who directed some classic sci-fi and horror films of that era, including The Creature from the Black Lagoon and It Came from Outer Space and This Island Earth, among others. The screenplay was by the great Richard Matheson, based on his novel. He also wrote the novel I Am Legend, which was made into 3 different films, actually. He wrote The Night Stalker, The Night Strangler, the Hammer film, The Devil Rides Out, several Outer Limits and Twilight Zone episodes. So why did I choose this? Well, it's classic 50s science fiction. It's a warning about radiation, of course. It has some breakthrough science, special effects rather, and which are often imitated. And it's essential, really, if you're a sci-fi or horror fan, really an essential addition to your collection. And there are some of the extras for the incredible Shrinking Man. For my 4th pick, I'm going to go with an adventure film. We're talking about The Flight of the Phoenix from 1965. It's 142 minutes long, so the longest film in this whole episode. And this one's in color. How about that? It's about a cargo plane that crashes in the Sahara Desert. And then the survivors hope that one of the passengers can build a flyable plane from the wreckage of this plane and get them out of there. Really strong cast: James Stewart, Ernest Borgnine, Peter Finch, Richard Attenborough. It was directed by Robert Aldrich, who directed The Longest Yard, the original from 1974, The Dirty Dozen, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and a film noir I really like called The Prowler, among other films. It was remade in 2004, and I chose this because it just has such an incredible cast, and it doesn't resort to stereotypes like some of these disaster type films might do, and it feels real and quite suspenseful as you wonder, how are these guys going to get out of there in this grueling desert environment? I did post an episode on The Flight of the Phoenix if you want to learn more about it, and I'll put a link in the notes down below. And here are the extras for The Flight of the Phoenix. My number 5 pick is a romantic comedy. Once again, not really my type of film, but we're talking about Crossing Delancey from 1988, 97 minutes long, in color. This is about a single woman in Manhattan who meets a man through her Jewish grandmother's matchmaker. It stars Amy Irving, probably best known for her role in Carrie, the original Carrie, and it stars Peter Riegert, who was in Animal House and Local Hero and The Mask. I think this is the best performances these two have given in this film. It was directed by Joan Micklin Silver, who also did a film I really like called Chilly Scenes of Winter, which I believe is also on Criterion. And I chose this because even though this rom-coms are not my jam typically, it shows a young person finding her way between 2 different worlds. She works in a bookstore. She associates with sort of the intelligentsia of New York City, and what a great location for a film, of course. But then the guy she meets is really a blue-collar guy. He's smart, but he works in the blue-collar world. So it kind of addresses if you can straddle both those worlds and how you find the person that's right for you. And that's pretty a universal thing we all kind of go through. The only thing I really don't care for is the annoying music by the Roaches musical group. It's a little too precious and whimsical for me. But otherwise, I do like Crossing Delancey quite a bit, and there are the extras for it. My final pick for this episode for Criterion Collection films that are 50% off at Barnes & Noble is a social issue foreign film, really, and that is 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days from 2007, 113 minutes, in color. This one's in Romanian with English subtitles. It's about a young woman who helps her friend to arrange an illegal abortion in Romania in 1987. It was written and directed by Christian Mungiu, and this was only his second feature film. He won the Palme d'Or at Cannes Film Festival in 2007 for this film. I chose this because this is strong stuff, very realistic filmmaking. It's set in Romania under a brutal, repressive communist regime where abortion was punishable by death. So you can imagine what these two young women go through trying to get an abortion for one of them. It may not be for all of you watching this. It could trigger emotions in some of you if you have experience with this topic, and it may trigger something if you have particularly strong stance one way or the other about abortion. But I did do a full episode on this film. I'll put a link in the notes down below if you want to learn more about it. And there are the extras for 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. So there are my 6 recommendations of films that probably are a little bit under the radar. And hopefully you'll find something there that interests you. Feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Subscribing is free, also free as we are on the Letterboxd app under the Kazdoy Closet. There's a link down below in the notes. It'll take you directly there. You can see what else we're watching, a lot of different things. That's free. What's not free is my ebook is available. It is True Tales from the Teacher Trenches, the ups and downs from 32 years of teaching. It's for your Kindle, or you can use the free Kindle app on any device of your choice. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's part of your subscription at no extra charge. Otherwise, you need to go to Amazon.com and pay $1.50 to check out my ebook. So, hope you like this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Have fun shopping at Barnes & Noble. See you next time.